In the heart of the dense Guatemalan jungle, the magnificent stone temples of Tikal reached towards the sky, monuments of a civilization shrouded in mystery. For centuries, Tikal stood as a dominant force in the Maya world, a bustling metropolis of immense power and cultural significance. Its population swelled, reaching estimates of up to 90,000 inhabitants at its zenith. The city's rulers, powerful kings and queens, commissioned the construction of towering pyramids, elaborate palaces, and intricate ball courts. These structures were not merely buildings, they were physical manifestations of the city's connection to the cosmos and the gods. The great plazas of Tikal would have been alive with the sounds of ceremony, trade, and daily life. Yet by the end of the 9th century, a profound silence began to fall over this once great city. The inhabitants of Tikal started to leave, abandoning their homes, their temples, and their history. The question of why this thriving civilization collapsed has puzzled historians and archaeologists for generations. No single answer suffices. Instead, a convergence of catastrophic factors likely led to Tikal's demise. One of the most significant contributors was severe and prolonged drought. Tikal was entirely dependent on rainwater, which was meticulously collected and stored in massive, man-made reservoirs. Paleoclimatological evidence reveals that the Maya region suffered from a series of intense droughts during the late Classic period. These were not ordinary dry spells, but multi-decade periods of significantly reduced rainfall. The once reliable seasonal rains became erratic and insufficient to replenish the city's water supply. This environmental crisis was exacerbated by extensive deforestation. The Maya cleared vast tracts of jungle to make way for agriculture to feed their growing population. Furthermore, an immense amount of wood was required to fuel the fires used to create lime plaster. This plaster was the hallmark of their monumental architecture, covering the surfaces of their temples and palaces. Loss of the forest canopy disrupted the local water cycle, reducing humidity and further decreasing rainfall. Soil erosion became a major problem as the exposed earth was washed away by the infrequent but intense downpours. This nutrient-rich topsoil, vital for their crops, ended up silting the very reservoirs they depended on. As the droughts intensified and the reservoirs shrank, a new, insidious threat emerged: water contamination. Recent scientific analysis of the sediment in Tikal's central reservoirs has revealed a toxic secret. They found high levels of mercury and evidence of toxic algae. The Maya used a brilliant red pigment made from cinnabar, a mercury sulfide mineral, for decoration. This pigment was lavishly applied to plaster walls, pottery, and even used in burials. Rainfall would wash this toxic mercury from the painted surfaces directly into the city's drinking water reservoirs. The ruling elite, who lived closest to the palace and temple reservoirs, would have been the most exposed. Chronic mercury poisoning would have caused severe health problems, impairing the judgment and vitality of Tikal's leaders. Compounding this issue, the low, warm water in the reservoir became a breeding ground for toxic cyanobacteria. Even boiling this water would not have removed the toxins produced by these blue-green algae. The people of Tikal were faced with an impossible choice: the of thirst or risk being poisoned by the only water available. These environmental pressures inevitably led to social and political breakdown. The agricultural system, based on maize, beans, and squash, began to fail. Food shortages would have led to widespread malnutrition and famine. The authority of the divine kings, or Kahululaja, was based on their perceived ability to mediate with the gods. They were expected to ensure agricultural prosperity and deliver the rains. As the rains failed and the water turned foul, the people's faith in their rulers would have crumbled. The intricate social contract that held Tikal together began to unravel. Civil unrest and internal conflict likely became common as resources dwindled. While direct evidence of large-scale warfare at Tikal itself is limited, the entire Maya region was experiencing increased conflict. This endemic warfare disrupted trade routes that brought essential goods like salt and obsidian to Tikal. The breakdown of these networks would have further isolated the city and crippled its economy. Faced with starvation, poison, and a crisis of faith, the people of Tikal made a rational decision. They left. This was not a single, sudden exodus, but a gradual abandonment over several decades. Families and small groups likely drifted away, seeking survival in smaller, more sustainable settlements. The last monumental construction at Tikal is dated to 869 AD, a stark signal of the city's decline. After this date, the grand tradition of erecting carved stone monuments with historical records simply stopped. The city that had chronicled its history in stone for a millennium fell silent. Slowly but surely, the jungle began its relentless reclamation of the city. Vines crept over the intricately carved facades of the temples. Tree roots, like powerful fingers, breed apart the massive stone blocks of the pyramids. The once manicured plazas became overgrown with a tangle of vegetation. The sounds of the city were replaced by the calls of howler monkeys and the chatter of unseen birds. For nearly 1,000 years, Tikal remained a lost city, its existence known only to the local forest dwellers. Its rediscovery in the mid-19th century by European explorers was a revelation. The story of Tikal's abandonment serves as a powerful cautionary tale. It demonstrates how even the most advanced and powerful civilizations are vulnerable to environmental change. The delicate balance between a society and its environment can be irrevocably broken. The Maya of Tikal were brilliant engineers and astronomers, but they could not overcome the consequences of their own success. Their overexploitation of the forest's resources had a direct and devastating impact. The poisoning of their water supply was an unforeseen consequence of their cultural practices. It highlights the danger of ignoring the long-term health of the ecosystem. The collapse was not a singular event, but a cascade of failures. Environmental stress led to resource scarcity, which in turn fueled social instability. The failure of leadership to solve these crises eroded the very foundation of their society. Today, as we walk through the restored plazas of Tikal, we are walking through the ghost of a fallen giant. The stones themselves seem to whisper a warning across the centuries. They tell a story of a civilization that reached for the stars, but lost the ground beneath its feet. The mystery of Tikal is not just about why it was abandoned, but what we can learn from its fate. The echoes of its collapse resonate with our own modern challenges of climate change and resource management. The jungle that swallowed Tikal serves as a potent symbol of nature's ultimate power. It reminds us that no civilization, however great, is permanent. The great city's heart stopped beating, but its stone skeleton endures. Silence speaks volumes to those who are willing to listen. The city's lifeblood, water, became its poison. This paradox lies at the core of Tikal's tragic end. The rulers, once seen as gods, were revealed to be mortal. Their failure to command the reins was a failure of their divine mandate. The intricate web of ceremony and belief could not hold back the tide of ecological disaster. The abandonment was an act of collective survival. It was a choice to live rather than to die with the city. The forest that had been pushed back for centuries finally returned. It grew over the ball courts where heroes once played. It covered the causeways that connected the great temple complexes. The city became a green mound, its true form hidden from the world. Tikal's story is a complex tapestry of climate, culture, and choice. There was no single villain, no single event to blame. It was a slow, grinding decline, a perfect storm of misfortune. The weight of the city's own complexity became too much to bear. Its thirst for resources outstripped the land's ability to provide. The sacred reservoirs, the heart of the city, became toxic pools. This transformation from life-giver to life-taker is central to the collapse. The loss of Tikal was a profound trauma for the Maya people. Yet, the Maya civilization did not disappear entirely. It adapted, shifted, and continued in other forms, in other places. But the age of monumental city-states in the southern lowlands was over. Tikal stands as a silent, stone testament to this dramatic end. Its grandeur is matched only by the scale of its failure. The city's fall was a lesson written in stone and reclaimed by jungle. It teaches that the foundations of any society are not made of stone, but of soil and water. When those foundations erode, even the mightiest structures will fall. Jungle's embrace is both a burial and a preservation. It protected the city from the ravages of time until it could be rediscovered. Now, Tikal's story is told not by kings, but by scientists and historians. They piece together the clues left in the sediment, pollen, and stone. Each discovery adds another sentence to the epic of Tikal. The city's end was not a simple fading away. It was a complex, agonizing process of dissolution. Imagine the final ceremonies held in the plazas, filled with desperation instead of celebration. Imagine the last farmer giving up on a field of dust. Imagine the final family closing the door to their home for the last time. These are the human moments at the heart of the collapse. Tikal's fate is a stark reminder of civilization's fragility. The city's towering pyramids stand as silent witnesses to this truth. The story is written in the very stones of the city. A story of glory, hubris, and eventual surrender to the forces of nature. The once mighty city had to be abandoned by its people. The jungle's embrace was both a consequence and a final mercy. It hid the city's scars from the world for a millennium. The political instability was a fire fueled by environmental hardship. Leaders who could not provide water could not command loyalty. Social fabric tore under the strain of hunger and thirst. Each family that left was a vote of no confidence in Tikal's future. The city's decline was a slow, painful unraveling of a complex society. The final generation of Tikal's citizens witnessed the end of their world. They were survivors of a catastrophe of their own making. The once sacred city became a place of ghosts and memories. Its rediscovery gave it a second life, as a window into the past. Tikal's legacy is a lesson etched in stone for all humanity. The great city of the Maya is a testament to both the heights of human achievement and the depths of ecological collapse. Its silent ruins challenge us to consider our own relationship with the planet. The abandonment of Tikal was not the end of a people, but the end of a dream. A dream of a powerful city that could command the jungle and the sky. Ultimately, the jungle and the sky could not be commanded. And so, the people of Tikal walked away, leaving the ghosts to guard their silent, stone metropolis.